we're going to talk to you about the another weapon from the U.S. arsenal in World War II, and it's the M1918A2 Browning automatic rifle, or the BAR, or the BAR, as it was sometimes called. A little background history on this weapon. It was originally developed late in World War I. With the advent of the machine gun in World War I, tended to be large, heavy, crew-served weapons. Well, all the forces involved were always looking constantly through World War I, looking for a lighter automatic weapon that could easily be moved through the trenches and then across no man's land into the enemy trenches. And there were a lot of weapons developed by other nations. The British developed the Hotchkiss, the French had the Chouchou. But the U.S. entry into this competition, so to speak, was the M1918 Browning automatic rifle. The BAR was developed by a gentleman by the name of John Moses Browning, and his idea was to take the standard U.S. .30 caliber rifle round and develop a weapon that could fire it both semi, but then also automatically. And it fed from a 20-round box magazine, and the original M1918 BAR did not have a bipod on it. The idea was the BAR-man from the trench would fire semi-auto, single shot, but then when they would go to cross no man's land, on his ammo belt he had a metal cup on the right hip. As he exited the trench, he would place the butt of the weapon in the cup, switch it to automatic, and he would fire what they called walking fire as he's crossing no man's land, automatic, to suppress the enemy trench. And then once he got to the position, he could go back to semi-auto and again fired individual aim shots. Of course, the BAR makes it out right at the end of World War II, but it was very well liked. It proved to be a very reliable weapon, and as a matter of fact, the French actually end up buying some BARs to replace the Chouchou, which is what they had. In between the war years, the idea of trench warfare and how to use an automatic weapon kind of changed. So in between the war years, it goes through a couple of different design changes. The M1918A1 comes out, but then just before World War II starts in 1940, the 1918A2 comes out. With this one, we eliminate the semi-auto feature. So it only has what they call slow auto, fast auto, 250 rounds a minute, 500 rounds a minute. Still has a 20-round box magazine, but now we add a bipod to the weapon, as well as a clip in the back of in the butt of the stock, so that when the gunner's laying prone, he can flip that out, rest it on his shoulder, and he doesn't have to hold the weapon up while he's firing. In World War II, this was used as your squad automatic weapon. Every infantry squad in the Army had a BAR team, which was a three-man team, gunner, assistant gunner, ammo bearer. As the war progresses and losses are taken, you're lucky to have a gunner, an assistant gunner, and oftentimes you just had the gunner himself. But again, it still shoots that .30 caliber ammo that the standard M1 rifle shot, as well as the M1919 machine gun, 1917 machine gun. So the ammo was interchangeable between them. Still uses a 20-round box magazine. And basically the idea was the BAR team, out of a 15-man squad, the BAR team, which was 3, could lay down the same amount of fire as the remaining riflemen in the squad. So that was your fire and maneuver elements in World War II. BAR team and then the riflemen. And that's pretty much how we used it all the way through World War II. Again, talked to a lot of barmen that have visited the museum. Because of the 20-round magazine, it kind of limited their fire, so typically they used it in 3-round bursts. But because, as I tell folks, this is really a heavy rifle that fires fully automatic, even though you're shooting 30-06 in full auto, it's a very controllable weapon. You look at a lot of the old Signal Corps footage of BAR-men standing, firing full auto from the standing position with a rifle in their shoulder, and it was very easy to control, just because of the weight of the weapon and the way the operating system works. It was a very, very shooter-friendly weapon, not a lot of recoil to it, but it also made it that it was a very accurate weapon. Several statements that I've read in research from Germans that they really hated the BAR because it was so accurate at longer ranges. The rear sight is adjustable up to 1,500 yards, And most of the BAR men that I've talked to said they could fire a 3-round burst at about 500 yards and keep all 3 rounds inside a melon. So that's pretty good for an automatic weapon. Continue to use the BAR through World War II into Korea. And then I've even talked to some Vietnam vets that were in Vietnam early on in the Vietnam conflict. They still had BARs then. So anyway, the M1918A2 Browning automatic weapon proved to be a very reliable, very useful weapon, and well liked by the soldiers. Not many of them wanted to carry it because of its weight, but they wanted it there because it tended to get the enemy's attention and lay down an effective suppressive fire.